can tell you that I had some really great friends like Britta Thomsen. We spent 10 years in the European Parliament, but that was really the best 10 years of the European Parliament because the European Parliament became a real power that time. And actually 2018, I returned back to the national parliament. So I am the deputy group leader of the Socialists, and I'm very busy for the campaign. This campaign is completely different than before, because the only way to rid of Orbán's mafia government is to unite the opposition. So you can imagine that the party from extreme right wing to the left, the Greens, how can you unite people who has a completely different vision? And actually, after 1.5 years, I can tell you that we could create a common program. As we had primaries, we have only one single candidate against the Fidesz candidate. And of course, that was also the way that we could choose our prime minister candidate. But we had a trial in 2019 because in Budapest, we really wanted to make a change, because if Budapest, which is 1/5 of the population, 2 million people, is led by the opposition, then of course it makes a difference immediately. And we had a primary at the Budapest election, and our candidate won. We had 10 big cities who we could get in power with the opposition candidates as well. And now it was a really moment of unification of the political parties to make sure that we want to be rid of Orbán. So we have a common program, we have common candidates, and we have one single prime minister candidate. He is not coming from a party. He's coming from a movement which is called Everybody's Hungary's movement. So actually, he did not want to create a party, because he thought that people are a bit fed up with political parties. So he thought the movement is a bit different. But I would say we need political parties. And I think it's good that there is a fresh blood, let's put it in this way, who came with the leadership. And of course, the prime minister candidate is a conservative man. So now it is a real challenge, or it was a real challenge for us, to get a candidate who has a completely different vision. But at the end, I can tell you absolutely proudly that 80% of our program of the whole united opposition is social democrat, because we took the chance for the last 1.5 years to create different working groups, and we had 150 experts, who worked on the program. And then when we started the negotiations, of course, there are points on which we could not be united. And on the 15th of March, we just had it 2 days ago. That was a huge demonstration of almost 100,000 people who really wanted to show that they are fed up and they really want to change. And I can tell you that we haven't had such big demonstrations since 2016. We had no chance to be in this television. And now they brought a new rule that every political party can get 5 minutes. But the good news, that was the first time that our prime minister candidate could go to the national television. I would call more Orbán television. It's really up to the prime minister how he would like to create a government. Of course, we could have governmental position, we could have strong parliamentary position. So I would say that this is going to be negotiated right after the election. So this Jobbik is not that extreme right-wing party anymore. So they really wanted to create a people's party for the last long term, which means that they lost a lot of real extreme right-wing voters. But there is another party which has been created who are really the extreme right-wing person as well. So I hope that they are not going to get the 5% because there is a threshold for them. But I can tell you that Jobbik has changed a lot. And of course, it is absolutely crucial for us because, of course, my experience from the extreme right wing is never good. Let's see what's going on with Le Pen. And I can also tell you that Orbán turned to absolute extreme. Can you imagine that Orbán lent money for Marine Le Pen from a bank in Hungary, 10 million euro? to help the election campaign of Marine Le Pen. I think this is absolutely incredible. But this is the strawman of Orbán, who is the owner of the bank, who gave the loan for Marine Le Pen. So Orbán, who has been a liberal leader, turned completely to extreme right wing since 1989. Actually, Orbán created his own oligarch system, like in Russia. But of course, we are not surprised because Orbán is a pretty good friend of Putin, as you have seen during the Ukrainian war. That from one day to another, Orbán changed his position and he said, "Yes, I support NATO, I support the EU." But the last 12 years, he has been really a close friend of Putin. And just to give you an example, what type of fear we have in the country. I was in Tatabánya, 60 kilometers far from Budapest, and I was walking with the candidates with leaflets. And I asked them, "Shall we have a picture with you?" And they said, "Yes." "Oh, it would be so nice, but I have a fear that if the boss of my son will see me on the Facebook, then he's going to be kicked out." Actually, today on the street, an old woman told me, "I was so happy that you came into my village, but I did not dare to go there because, the village talks." And there are people who tell the mayor who is belonging to Fidesz, that these people are not supporting Fidesz anymore. So actually, Orbán built the fear into the system. And there is one more thing concerning a village. There are public workers. The mayor will tell the public workers that you should vote for Fidesz, otherwise you lose your job. And they have to make a picture of his vote. And now you can do it. It's in the legislation in Hungary that you can make a photo of your vote and you can show it to whatever you want. We have the voter tourism. And last time the reason why Fidesz could win the 2/3 majority, because people who live outside of Hungary, but they are Hungarian citizens from Transylvania or from Ukraine, then they can vote by letter. But if you are a Hungarian who lives in Manchester and works there, you have to go to the embassy. You cannot vote by post. So there are so many. You can find a lot of things that we should need to change absolutely. I think Orbán changed his style all of a sudden. He showed that he's a peacemaker and he's going to be number one in peacemaking. And of course, the opposition could show immediately that a very strong solidarity. So we immediately started to consult with all those who live close to the border, but of course with Ukrainian civil society members, because what we witnessed that women and children came through the border because men could not left the country because they had to go to the army, and these people with the families walked through the border. So actually the local government started to help them, but they got the help mostly from the opposition. And actually the amount that the government offered, that was just peanut to compare the huge solidarity from the Hungarian people. And I can tell you that a lot of us went to the border, talked to personally people. We opened our office and people can bring for example, Pampers for children or cleaning stuff for women. So we really try to find out what are the real needs for these people. There were only 400 people who really wanted to stay in Hungary, but it might happen because we have a lot of Ukrainian workers who are earning monies here. Their families started to arrive. So it is going to be a question for the local government who is belonging to the opposition. How can we deal with so many young people? Of course, the first what we want, we need peace. We need to rebuild peace again in the region. I think, and I'm very upset to say that as Orbán changed his mind and he has a lot of money to say that he is the peacekeeper and he wants security for for people. And I think he could profit more out of this unfortunate war than the opposition. We are the worst. We are number 27 among the 27 EU member states. We have 11% women in the parliament, and of course it's because the policy what Orbán is representing is family, and then of course women lost their economic independence because we have family taxation. And I really hope that in the new parliament in 2022 we have more parliament, because I think it's a shame that we have 52% women in Hungary and they are barely represented in the national parliament.